Hey everyone, so this is Unit 2, Module 2, Session 3 homework, adding and subtracting fractions. So this is kind of a fun one. They want us to make sure if it's an improper fraction, they want us to write the equivalent mixed number. Okay, here's a mixed number, here's improper fraction. Okay, and they kind of give us a little explanation. It was kind of cool. All right, so here we go. 1 and 5 tenths minus 4 tenths. Well, I'm just looking at this part right here, and I know if I have 5 tenths, I take away one of them, I have 1/10, and I have 1 whole still. Okay, let's look at the next one. And try this out, because I have 7/4. If I had 7 of them and I take away 3 of them, I have 4 of those fourths, which is also equal to 1. It gets a little more confusing, but hopefully you're trying these out. 4/12 plus 2/3. I'm going to turn my 4/12 into thirds. When I did it the first time, I changed my thirds to 12ths, but I'm going to change this. I know that 4 goes into 12 3 times, so that's the same as 1/3. If I filled in 4/12 of a clock, I would have 1/3 filled in, plus 1 2/3. Well, I have my 1/3 plus 2/3 is 1 whole, so I have 2 wholes. Okay, that's my answer for that one. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to change the colors. 1 2/3 plus 1/6. So let's change our 2/3 to 6th. I'm just going to write up here. If I did 2/3, that's the same thing. If I turn it to 6th, the same thing as 4/6. So I'm going to say 1 4/6. It's a weird one to say, plus 1/6. Okay, so that gives me 5/6, and I bring my whole over. 1 5/6. All right, E. I really like E. 5/10 minus 1/4. So some of us, when I learn this, I might go to 20ths or I might go to 40ths. But check this out. 5/10 is the same as 1/2. If I filled in a half a clock, oh, that's really bad. Half a clock, and I take away 1/4 of it, minus 1/4. I take away 1/4. I have 1/4 left. See that in the red? 1/4 left. I could find equivalent fractions, but I didn't have to. I could draw a picture to represent it, right? And that takes me to the next one. And I know that I'm going to keep that 4 30/60ths. But I'm going to change the 1. I know 1/4, if I'm talking about 60th, is 15/60ths. So when I add those two up, I have 5 wholes, and I have 45 60ths. So I could be done there, but if I filled in 45 60ths on a clock, that would be the same thing as 5 3/4. Oops, that's a bad 4. I would take either of those. If you said 5 45 60ths, and 5 3/4, I'd take either. We'll work on simplifying it, but I'd take either of those. All right, look at number 2. I'll give you one way. You can come up with another way how to show it's not equal. But if I look at this, I could do. Well, there's lots of different ways I could look at this. If I look at thirds, let's change that to, well, I'm just going to change it to 2/6. Okay, and let's look at 2/7. I would argue that 2/6 is bigger than 2/7. Okay, because I think the pieces are bigger. These pieces are bigger. There's 6 pieces compared to 7, and you have 2 of them, same amount. So I think 2/6 is bigger, and if it's already bigger and I add something to it, it can't be equal to it. So that's one way. I said I was only going to show you one, but now I got an idea. If I change 1/3 and 1/4, I'm going to change them to 12ths. I know that 1/3 is 4/12, and I know that 1/4 is 3/12. If I add those up, that's going to be way bigger than 2/7. I'm going to stop right there, but I'm going to let you kind of think about that a little bit. Okay, let's go to the next page. Dan must do his homework for a half hour, then clean his room for a third of an hour before he can play. Seems fair. What fraction of an hour must Dan do homework? So I'm going to we're adding 1/2 and 1/3. So half an hour plus 1/3 of an hour. Okay, so I know I could change, well, I'm going to change it all the way to minutes. 30 60ths plus 20 60ths, 1/3. Okay, and so I'm going to say that is 50 60ths. And look what happened. I have a 50 and a 60, so I can detach or divide by 10, both those. That's the same thing as 5/6 of an hour. Okay, 5/6 of an hour. Or 50 60ths. If you left it that it's okay. 50 60ths or 50 minutes. I just want you thinking about how those two add up. All right, Danielle. Danielle found a nickel on the playground at school. She also found 20 cents on the sidewalk. How much money did she find? Well, I'm going to do my nickel. There's my 5 cents. Plus my 20 cents. I think that is 25 cents. They want to know what fraction of a dollar that is. So I think it's 25 out of 100. Which is also, I'm good with this. That's okay. But it's also 1/4 of a dollar. Because 25 cents goes in there 4 times. All right, we are to the challenge. This one went pretty fast for me, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the challenge. Tempted to, I want you to try it, but it does get a little confusing at the end, but we'll talk about it. So Mariah has an after-school babysitting job. This is a record of the number of hours she worked last week. She gets paid $6 an hour, okay? So they want to know how much she made babysitting last week, and it looks like she babysat quite a bit. So I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to find something I can add up right away. I can add this and this. Because if I have 2.5 plus 3.5, well, 2 plus 3 is 5, and then I add my halves for another whole. So I believe these two are 6 hours. Okay. And so then I'm just going to start adding to that the other ones. So I'm going to add, let's see where I can put this. I'm going to go 6 plus my 2 1/4 hours. That's just 8 1/4 hours. Okay. Now it gets a little tricky. Okay. But once you got it, pause it and try it on your own. So 8 1/4 hours. So that's these 3 are 8 1/4 hours total. Now I want to add the last one. 8 1/4 plus 3 2/3. I can't add those up. I gotta do a little bit more math. I'm gonna change them. If I'm thinking of my clock, I'm gonna change them to my 12ths. Okay. I'm gonna change 8 1/4 to 8 3/12. Okay, I think up above or last page we turned 4th into 3/12. I might even be thinking of last homework. And then I'm going to change my 2/3 into 3, and I'm going to change them to 12ths. So there are groups of 4, 8, 12. So there's 8. Now I can add them. Okay. So the whole numbers, look, they're the same numbers. Whole numbers are 11, and then the numerators, 3 plus 8 is 11 over 12. So she did 11 and 11/12 hours. How am I going to figure out how much money she made? Let's split it up. Okay. I'll put it over here. Let's change colors. So I'm going to split up into 11 hours. And then I'm going to put it into 11/12 of an hour. Okay. So here we go. You ready? I think the first one, 11 times 6 equals 66. Okay. That's how I feel about the 11 hours. So now I got to figure out 11/12 of an hour. So I got to take $6 and break it up into 12 pieces. Okay. $6 and break it up into 12 pieces. Think about how you're going to do that. $6, 12 pieces. So last year I might have made tape diagrams. I'm going to make one up here. $6. 12 pieces. So let me draw $6. Okay, there's my $6. That's $1. That's $1. Okay, each of those is $1. But I need 12 pieces. I have 6, so I'm going to break each of those pieces in half. Now I have 12. Doesn't look like it, but 12 equal pieces. So each of those pieces is 50 cents. So I have 11 50-cent pieces. Okay, so I have 11 twelfths times $6. I have 11 50-cent pieces. So if I could just count to 11 with 50 cents. So I can go 50 cents, $1, $1.50, $2, and I keep going, see where you end up. Okay. I could also do, this might be easier. I might say, well, a whole would be $6 and I subtract 50 cents. So that's $5.50. Now I add them both up. $66 plus $5.50. Well, I know that 66 plus 5 is 71, and it's just 50 cents. So I think she earned $71.50. That's what she earned. Okay. Curious to see if you got it the same way or if you were thinking differently. All right. Hope that helps. Make sure you bring in any questions that you have. All right. Thanks, guys.